What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Customizing Culture podcast by Heat Press Nation. Now, as you'll notice, I am not in our typical podcast studio. Today, I am at Stahls Hotronix in beautiful Carmichaels, PA, and I'm joined by some very special guests, legends in our industry, each in their own right, and I'm going to have them introduce themselves.
Hi, Jared. I'm Shauna Soom, Director of Global Sales for Hotronix brand.
I'm Josh Ellsworth, Chief Revenue Officer for Group Stahl.
We all know who Josh is.
Hi, I'm Ben Robinson. I'm Chief Manufacturing Officer for Group Stahl as well.
Man, and it is so exciting to, first of all, to be here. Now, we did take a tour a little bit earlier today. I want to thank Ben for that. And as a heat press nerd, I am just absolutely blown away by everything here. It's fully contained to see, and of course, you guys are going to see the video if it's not already up, but to see everything just from start to finish. It's mind-blowing. It's a little bit overwhelming. I don't know. Who's the newest hire here between the three? That would be me. How did you feel when you first kind of showed up to the building and saw everything that's going on?
It was amazing. I've lived here for a very long time and did not really understand the impact of what happens here. And I remember my first day on the job, somebody told me, give it 6 months and then give it 6 months more. And that's pretty realistic when you're learning heat printing.
Yeah. It's so much to learn. So much to see, and we're trying to cram it all into a day here. So it's very exciting. Now, Stahls Hotronix, it's a big treat for me to be here because I feel like you guys are, with unquestionably one of the oldest in the industry, but also like legends in the industry. And I would love to kind of know a little bit more about the company because we all know most people are familiar with the machines, but not so much with the company. Can you share a little bit? Maybe Josh can share a little bit about the history of the company and the company's roots in heat transfer.
Yeah, absolutely. I think first and most importantly is the Stahls group of companies started as a small business in a small garage in the Detroit area. And privately held company still, third generation ownership of the Stahl family. And along that journey, something Stahls has always been known for is education and innovation. And so from 1932, from a felt stamp letter and lettering and numbering all the way to the advent of Hotronix. And I think what's key to understand about when Hotronix started, it was all out of the desire for a more accurate heat press machine to apply heat transfers. And basically, that was not possible through working with other manufacturers at the time for a multitude of reasons. And so Ted Stahl took matters into his own hands and began the Hotronix brand. And I know Ben has been with the Hotronix brand for a while, so I'll let him kind of tell you a bit more from the Hotronix point forward.
Thanks. Yeah, so it kind of started in Connellsville in 1986. It was a very small shop. We actually rented a couple thousand square feet. And that was the first innovation that we had. We came up with the world's first digital heat press in 1986. It was the first one with an LCD display. And from there on till yesterday, we probably hold over 30 patents.
You guys got a lot of firsts going on here.
We have a lot of firsts, from the auto open to the over center pressure adjustment, completely fully threadable with the digital era and the snap cap on the 360, and now all the way to our Pro Place IQ being an integrated controller that projects an image onto a shirt and ties it all together for perfect placement. So I will say if Stahls Hotronix is anything, they're the first to market. They're the most copied press. We have the most patents. But it makes it a lot of fun because we're real curious down this way. We're real curious, and we like to see what's next.
Yeah, I would just add, so if I could just add to that, we had another partner come in and visit us, and they actually informed us that they believe Hotronix and Stahls company owns more patents than any other company in the apparel decorating space, including every technology under the sun. And so I think that just really is a testament to our commitment in heat printing as a technology and expanding what's possible with the heat press.
Yeah, because what we see, and this is not shitting anyone by any means, but a lot of times you build a good thing and you just you let it ride. You just, hey, we build a good thing and there we go, for the next 400 years or whatever. But not Stahls, always building a better heat press, and I love that. I love that about the company.
Yeah, I think that's super important because as a decorator, when you invest in your business and invest in, technology, it's really a business model and a way of doing things that you want to grow your business. And what we've seen is, blanks change, fabrics and what's trending and products change a lot. And Yeah, lower temperature applications. And so the heat press really has to push forward and expand like how you can decorate compression gear and bags and the next thing, headwear. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun to listen to your customers and actually be able to share ideas and invent and build things. So it makes us different.
We support it. We support an industry that is always looking for the next idea, the next solution. So I think that really helps keeps us on our toes also.
Yeah, now you mentioned that you guys, you listen to customer feedback, kind of, and I guess I want to talk about everything Stahls today, by the way, but can you talk a little bit more about how user feedback kind of plays into what gets developed and what gets pushed forward here?
Sure. I mean, we've spent plenty of nights with customers and cocktail napkins over our times at trade shows, and so I'd say that's one of the more exciting things is being able to collaborate at trade shows, at events, in person. Certainly, there's a lot of ways to share in this day and age, but sitting down and actually having a conversation, being able to ask follow-up questions, I think that's where some of the coolest things have been invented.
Yeah, I echo that. We didn't go copy somebody else's heat press. What we did was try to find out what their heat press or what that technology wouldn't do and solve that problem and then some. So we have an unbelievable, I have to give a shout out to our team of engineers. I think you interviewed Wayu earlier this morning. He's got a team of 4 Carnegie Mellon graduates. They're on top of the most modern practices for technology and manufacturing. Not only can you come up with something, but if you don't have the manufacturing to be able to laser cut or do a high pressure die casting or a deep drawn stamping, you're just going to be the same old sharp edge heat press that's inaccurate. That is what we rival for today. I will tell you that I want to go back to some history. I've been here since '92. When we first started, we made as many bell press with a wind-up bell timer, bimetallic thermostat presses that you could make, and that we stemmed from that. So we also had an inexpensive line called Mighty Press, and you ran it at 400 degrees because transfers were not accurate, and you just smashed them on 25 degrees hot and left a big mark on the shirt. Now we're all the way down to 260 degrees for just a few seconds, and you have that soft feel with no mark. So that's how technology chased where they led us to.
Yeah, I think I started here full-time in 2002, I believe, so a little over 22 years ago, and the Mighty Press was just transferring when the time I first started selling heat presses with the bell timer or the temperature to the Mighty Press Digital, right? And so we're 20-plus years in the advent of digital across all machines, even entry-level machines, now have the digital controls that were invented and really modernized by Hotronix.
Man, and what's funny is sometimes you still see those presses out in the wild, the old with the dial on it, and that just kind of speaks to the quality that you guys have been putting into your machines for decades now.
Correct. Yeah, you got it. And I love thinking about what's next with the heat press, and so something you can trust is it's probably already drawn out in an engineer's office or wall on what's next. And we just launched our projection technology, and these guys are already on to the next innovation from customer feedback, which is pretty cool.
Man, okay, we're going to talk a little bit more about innovation in a minute, but I'm so excited to see what you guys have next, only because I'm so excited to see what you guys have now. And I think that's what kind of keeps this industry and it keeps users like me, because yes, I work for Heat Press Nation. I talk heat presses all day, but at the end of the day, I'm still a heat presser. I'm still making T-shirts. I'm still taking orders from time to time. Not so much in the recent past year or two, but I'm still taking orders, and so to see this technology still advancing, it's fun, man. It's really fun, and I can only imagine how much fun you guys have working here, seeing all the tools of the trade and everything. Now, one word that I think all of us here would agree for sure, but most people, even who don't have a Stahls press, would agree that quality is synonymous with Stahls. I mean, I got to witness it firsthand, seeing how these things are built, seeing how much care you guys go into it. Can you guys talk about what goes into making a Stahls press a Stahls press? It's very intentional, your guys' process, and I would love to hear just a little bit more about it.
Okay, all right. So we start with the best quality materials. I explained to you during the tour that we're using hot rolled pickled oil steel from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We use the absolute best non-homogenized aluminum. It's brand new the first time that we use it, and our processes. We don't use an old drill press anymore. Everything's mostly automated, from laser cut to robotic welding to CNC presses. We just now installed a brand new powder coat line, which ensures that it's put on there evenly. And then inside the guts of the machine, we like to say that UL, ULC, and CE certification comes in here every 3 months to make sure that we're on top of our game, making sure that we use the same components that we're certified to keep them safe, no matter where they go worldwide.
And real quick, sorry, can you explain to those of us who may not know, what exactly does that certification entail?
The certification entails that we're using components that are safe. You just can't go across the border or go to Asia and buy a switch and it's not certified. It could arc, it could be dangerous, it could blow your machine up. We have to have all of those components individually certified, and that is a third-party company that comes in and rips the machine apart, shy of x-raying it, and says you are doing everything exactly the way you're supposed to. And believe it or not, if you don't have that at even a border crossing, there's a lot of customs and a lot of states that will not accept that machine being used in their household, especially Canada, a lot in Europe. So we're pretty proud of spending the extra dollar.
And what I'd like to say is that really gives you, when you make a Hotronix investment or you think about everything that goes into the machine, it's really peace of mind. Like, you know it's going to do the job. It's going to deliver time, temperature, and pressure accurately over the course of a long duration, which is backed by a warranty. You know you can get supported in the U.S., but really the peace of mind of the certifications is I'm willing to say that probably 80% of the audience is watching from home and may operate their heat press business from home. So it's really important to keep your home safe with the quality of heat press that you select and the decision you make. And a machine that carries those certifications gives you that peace of mind as a home decorator.
We not only are proud of the quality in the machines that go out the door, but we stand behind that with the warranty and then the support that we provide. If you have a problem with your machine, you can connect with a technician. We offer different ways. We innovate in how we get that service to our customers. So we like to meet our customers where they are. You know, if they are those side hustlers on the West Coast working late into the evening, we have a chat bot that you can access. We have email support. We have a case system. So cases come in order, they get serviced in that order. And then beginning July 1st, we'll also have a 1-800 number where customers will be able to talk to a tech. Right now, once you get a technician on the phone, they'll walk you through. If you can't really make them understand or there's some kind of a disconnect, they'll spin up a video call for you. So we're working really hard to make sure that our customers understand that buying a Hotronix press, we're walking with you through that whole journey.
Yeah, and that's the kind of support that, let's just be frank, you're not getting from an Amazon press. I don't know if we're not supposed to say that name on but you know, you're not going to get that on like a bargain press, a bargain import press. It's non-existent, that level of support. The level of quality is non-existent with these machines. So you guys build a machine. I hope you're proud of it. I mean, I think, yeah.
Yeah, very proud. And when you call in and get support, you're getting that original switch that was in that machine. So you're getting, you know, the original equipment manufacturer replacement parts when you're connecting with us.
To that note, like I saw the parts bay and like every last single thing is in-house. It's here. It's supported by Stahls. So it's really exciting. And since we're on the topic, because you mentioned innovation and service, let's talk about innovation just as a company, because you guys, I mean, I feel like so goes Stahls, so goes the world of heat pressing. I mean, we're not happy that everybody's ripping you off, but I mean, they're only copying the best, right? Can we talk a little bit about how important innovation is here at Stahls? Because you guys always have the newest and the best of everything. Is that like a company mindset? What's the philosophy behind it? Like, what drives that innovation?
Sure, we're always innovating. I'll let Josh speak to that.
Yeah, it's so important to us that innovation is actually one of our mission statements. We have 3, one based on the customer, one based around our people, our employees, and then one based on innovation. And that statement says we'd like to expand what's possible in heat transfer technology. And so really that's at the front of the way we conduct business at every level of the organization is having that mindset of curiosity, having the passion for the customer to try to innovate, and really pulling that through with our investments into people, ideas, and time and technology.
And it's not just a heat press. It all starts with the heat press. As fast as we're innovating with the heat presses, There's a team of chemists working on adhesives. We've got the softest inks. Kind of goes together like cookies and milk, and there's not too many manufacturers that can say that. I always tell everybody we make the pencil sharpener, we invented it, but we also sell the best and the sharpest pencils as well. So when you do call Shauna's team or Stahls' team if you're having a problem printing, whether it be the transfer, the machine, or you just need educated, as Josh said, we're able to handle that phone call with one call. So we don't pass it off to a transfer manufacturer and say, got to go deal with him. We're only machines. We're able to take it on the chin for all of it, and we won't stop until they're running. So it's just innovation of products. It's innovation of the things that the machine eats, every day, where we're trying to stay on the front end of the best inks, the best transfer technology as well, best services. So innovation is a big word. It's not just presses.
Do you feel like there's like pressure to stay number one, stay on top?
It's an awful lot of fun pressure because, in all honesty, our privately held, our owner's still involved in the business 3.5 generations, and since 1932, he's never quit. He's never quit. We're not going to be the one that kills it. We want to keep moving it, and that part is fun because Amazon can't do that. All they can do is sell something that we did 10 years ago. So,
yeah, I think there's a big difference in any market between number one and number two, right? And so our goal isn't to participate in any space and be number two. And so
it's like Ricky Bobby. If you're not first, you're last.
That's really what it is. That's really what it is. So yes, first is really in our DNA. That's how we're programmed. That's our culture. And so in heat printing technology, I think we're undoubtedly number one by a pretty far margin, and we'll stay there.
Yeah. Is there anything on the horizon that you are able to talk about right now? Because I know a lot of it is secret, of course. A lot of it is in development right now. Is there anything maybe in the future coming that we can talk about?
There are some things that are coming in the future. That's the only thing that I couldn't show you today. We've always got 2 or 3 irons in the fire, and it can be anything from a craft press to commercial, so we'll just leave it at that. Let's say we're going to service all those markets, but obviously the ProPlace IQ hasn't even had the ribbon cut off of it yet. We just launched it last month. Hundreds and hundreds of back orders. We just got them filled, so we have stock now on that. So we're super high on the ProPlace IQ and its ability to talk to only our controller and keep track of everything you do and perfectly place things for our dual-air fusion. That was a pretty big milestone. It took that team in there well over a year of 4 people working very, very hard, along with some other collaboration of our sales and service entities to bring that one to, well, we just made product of the year for, what was it? Impressions, just a word at product of the year. Pretty proud of that.
We love hearing how the sausage is made. So can you go into just a little bit of like, how does a product go from start to finish? If we could take the ProPlace like as an example, like I don't know if you have this, like who is the originator? Like whose napkin was that first on?
Yeah, I promise you, he and I had the napkin out, and I can promise you. So it happens. A trade show collaboration is a lot of fun. We do appreciate brick and mortar events. We got a lot of boots on the ground all over. We take everybody. That is something that's hard to do on a Zoom call. Yeah. So we always come back to at a trade show or somewhere where we have salespeople are like, if you had to throw a dart, start with a whiteboard, what would you do? And then my favorite challenge is take and try to grab all of everybody's ideas and figure out how to manufacture it here for the right price. So that innovation started literally almost with a flashlight or a junkie projector just hanging on a stick over one of our old air fusions. And then we got our software engineers involved. Our software engineers out of Arizona, there's a whole team of them, and they went off. It's going to do this, it's going to do that, it's going to do this, it's going to do that. They made it to where it's effortless. You think it, it'll do it.
And I would like to say in that journey, something that's really unique about us that not a lot of people realize is we have a division called Stahls DFC, Decorating Fulfillment Center, where we're a licensed decorator for the NFL, the NBA, the NHL. And so that concept of the ProPlace IQ lived in our actual internal manufacturing facility, and we've been decorating with projectors for over a decade. At this point, it was really just about taking what we knew and what we were operating and realizing the efficiencies at in that facility, and how can we commercialize it to make it accessible and adoptable to any shop.
And I'd like to add back to the innovation The IQ technology already existed in our IQ controllers, so that allowed the software development piece that became the ProPlace to be that much further accelerated. When that software was designed, it was very well designed. I believe it was underutilized at the time, but now it won't be. But that was that much forward thinking when that software was initially developed that allowed us to really jump on this and get moving and build it out in what a year Ben said. So
kind of like overbuilding it to future-proof. Yeah, I love that.
That's right. Yeah, I don't know that there's another heat press in the industry, and the IQ technology has been out for a while that connects to the cloud and, that can measure production analytics. And not only just for large shops, but for small businesses. Like when you step up to the heat press and log in as an operator, it can there is a portal that you can log into a website where it'll tell you, like, here's how many applications you did in that hour. Here's how often the heat press was open versus closed. You can measure downtime and really just improve your efficiencies, because a lot of people think you have to be a big shop to be getting into like a dual press or something like this. But what I would say, it's almost even more important to a small business. Think about this. If you're the only one in your business, the number one thing you have of value is time. And you don't want to be spending more time printing a job than you need to. And so you can literally not only reduce your errors with the projection technology, but reduce your time in half that you spend per day fulfilling orders and heat pressing jobs. And that's a pretty big deal for a business of any size.
Yeah. Now, earlier today, we were having a conversation about, like, sometimes the hardest part is not even heat pressing it. It's getting the jobs on the press. And to kind of just add to what you're saying is, so many people just, they'll say, okay, I'm going to start my side hustle. I can dedicate 3 hours a day. And they think they're going to spend all 3 hours pressing. But no, if you're spending 3 hours pressing, when are you spending your time booking the jobs? And so having that time, being able to cut your time in half with the dual air, now you have an hour and a half to go create your Facebook ads or your Instagram ads or post your content. And then you can still have time to fulfill all your orders. So you're getting more out of your time with that machine.
Yeah, the most difficult part is sales. I think acquiring the customer. Heat pressing is so easy. Most shops we talk to, they're onboarding an operator or themselves learning the machine in less than 2 hours and becoming proficient in 4 to 6 hours. Like, what other technology can you say that with? Embroidery, screen printing?
Oh, no, not a chance.
I don't think so.
Those are like art forms. And I'm not saying heat pressing is not an art form, but heat pressing is a little bit more mechanical and able to give you a little bit more consistency without so much nuance, which I appreciate. I love screen printing, don't get me wrong. I love, and I'm sure business owners who have employees that they need to train quick love the lack of nuance and ability to just get there and go. You set in your settings, boom, you're ready to rock and roll. So now a lot of people will look at Stahls and maybe they're Googling and they're coming across like the dual air or something, a little expensive. But the truth is, I'll say that the dual air is worth every penny. Let me just say that, all right? But like the truth is, you guys have machines for pretty much every level of a person's journey in heat pressing and having a heat transfer business. Can you talk a little bit about the machines and kind of walk us through the scale or run the gamut with us?
Absolutely. We have a heat press to meet any heat press decorator's needs. It starts with the A to Z press, which is a great entry-level press. It's a small press. It's made right here in Pennsylvania. It's a swing-away model, has great pressures, and that's a very moderately priced heat press. Moving on, we have the Max press. That is it's a clam, not an auto. It's a clam style press. That's a great press for decorators who travel and do pop-up shops and they want to move that press a lot. It doesn't weigh a lot, but it's durable. And then we move into the auto clam press, which automatically opens for you. It has digital readout for your time, temperature, and pressure. Then obviously the Fusion, which is our Cadillac of manually operated heat presses. And then don't rule out, as Josh mentioned, don't rule out the air presses. They allow you to reduce your production time, but they also are very beneficial for people who maybe have some shoulder injuries and can't pull that press down regularly. So there's a heat press that meets every need.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed here, as we were taking the tour a little bit earlier, the Max heat press, it's using the same quality materials, same construction as the more expensive heat presses. So it's not like you guys are like skimping out on the more affordable presses.
Not at all. It just doesn't have that auto release magnet. So it's very similar to the auto clam. But what I do, how I sell that press to customers is if you're traveling, if you want to do those on-site decorating opportunities, that's the press you want to look at. You don't want to be hauling a Fusion in your...
Yeah. We've had some customers try to pick, when we used to be open to for store pickups, they would try to cram even just a regular clamshell in their tiny little convertibles, and we were like, oh geez. And then we heard some people would drop off presses thinking that we were the Stahls service center. Some people would bring their Stahls Fusions in the back of they had to rent a van. And I felt so bad. We're like, you guys, this is why you call before you stop by. Yeah. So, yeah.
So fun fact, those heat presses are in those really large boxes with all that foam because we have to fight the shipping company's employees who are throwing those presses. So that's all certified that it can take all the use and abuse that the shipping companies give it and still arrive and work for you.
I hope we don't lose any viewers, but I did used to work at FedEx back in the day, guys. And yeah, what she's saying is 100. Not me, never me. But I witnessed. Oh, let me go to the gym for a couple of years. I'm gonna get on that Marvel workout plan. Then I'll be able to go. And yeah, but yeah, I've seen many boxes abused. So I'm glad you guys do that. Now, so you guys have a heat press for everybody, but you guys also manufacture some really cool gear that honestly I feel is underrated. I feel like more people need to know. For me, it's the laser alignment system. That's the one that I'm always like, you guys like, but I could use a ruler. Sure, use a ruler, waste your time. So to me, that's a super underrated product. Do you guys have any like special, I don't want to call them black sheep products, but it's the product that you wish more people knew about because it would save them so much time and money?
I would say interchangeable platens are the biggest feature that a lot of people don't use. Just buy a different size platen. So if you're doing youth shirts, if you're doing small women's, if you put it on a 16 by 20, you're going to stretch it out.
Yeah.
So if you want to produce a better quality product, swap out our platens. They're very reasonable investment, a couple of $100s. And we have platens. We're always thinking innovation, right? So we have partnered with Livingston Systems to take something that was used in screen printing technology. It's the tag-along platen. It allows you to do a full front and a neck tag all at the same time. So if you're building a business, you can brand yourself in that neck tag while you're doing your customer's job.
And going back to the time-saving thing, you're saving so much time because instead of 2 separate hits on 2 separate machines, you're cutting that in half. It pays for itself in the 1 or 2 runs.
It does. What's your favorite?
Sorry.
I'll go.
All right. I'm going to take every other one here. I have to go with the mobility. So I'm sitting here staring at a bunch of scissor carts right now for our dual and air presses. You can adjust the height so that you're not bent over. And then the caddies that we sell make a clam fully threadable. It was another patent that we had to take a full desktop clam, put it onto a caddy, and you're able to. I showed you today that we had somebody bring a hockey goalie bag to us, and we had that pedestal stand. We were able to slide it over that mailbox looking stand, and the whole bag stayed down below. And we were able to put the kids' team names on it, and the guy he was amazed. So mine would be all just about mobility, getting the press where you want it, right height, when you want it, with our caddies and our scissor carts.
It's tough going last on this one, so I'm really going to have to go into my bag. Like Shauna literally took the whole category of platens. Like, you couldn't just pick a platen. You had to do the whole category.
You know how many people come up to me at a trade show and say, well, I've just never purchased. I only ever used the 16 by 20 because that's what it came with. You don't know what you're missing.
I agree. So let me call out. I'll call out 2 things. One is a specific platen that I think is underutilized and maybe people don't know it's available, and it's going to surprise most people. It's a 4x4-inch platen, and so we have 6x10, 11x15, 7-inch round, leg and sleeve, all these sizes, right? Tag along, we've talked about them. But the 4x4 is one that came from a customer idea, and basically they wanted to decorate outerwear jackets, right? Jackets, especially like performance jackets, they have a lot of seam structure. It's tough to get to that left chest location, even on your shirt. It's tough, right? To get into that location and get rid of the buttons. That 4x4 platen, when loaded on the machine, it really isolates a very small and profitable print area on high-end items, whether that's a backpack or a jacket. To me, it gets rid of the pillows, the pads, all the inserts.
It took a lot of finagling to get this done, by the way. And it's funny, and I appreciate you for noticing. Thank you. Because I pressed this myself, and it was a hassle. And yes, I had to use multiple pads. I had to stack some because the way this shirt lays, and all I had was my 1624 press. The way this shirt lays, I was like, oh, I would kill for a little, or just give me a little press. So being able to switch it out, I wish I could have switched out the lower platen on there. So just speaking to that, it's
And if you're doing a lot, like you can buy a whole dedicated machine, a 6x6 inch press. A lot of people don't realize we sell, but that's not going to be my number 2 product. So I'm just mentioning that. Like the 4x4 platen's easy for an existing Hotronix owner. And then the other thing I'm going to recommend to you, and I'm going to use something I learned decades ago when I was attending educational events from a presenter, is a CAP press. You know what that is?
cap press.
A cap press, but it's actually an acronym. CAP, can apply practically anything, right? Because you can do that left chest location, you can do the tag area we talked about, you can do the sleeve. Of course, you can do caps, all very easy. So a lot of people have a standard flat press. Like a cap press is a must-have for any heat printer, especially, I'd say go all the way, go for the top and bottom heat. You'll never wish for another cap press. It's one model, does it all.
Can you just explain what you have how quickly all of ours are easy to interchange with the Lightning?
Yeah. So, sorry, he's we got some inside jokes on this cocktail napkin, so he just hit me with one. So I fought tooth and nail. Like, I'm a marketer, and I'll give this backstory because people watch podcasts for this backstory, right? We have the quick change platens. I felt like I almost lost my job fighting to call that thing the lightning latch.
That's a great name for it.
I had all these video ideas. I'm like, it is a lightning match. We need to make it red or yellow. And
Who said no? That's what I got to know, because I'm on Lightning.
Marketing team. I was in on that team.
I'm on Team Lightning Latch, by the way. That's a great name.
But the point is, we wanted to show how, because you used to require tools to change the platen. With a Hotronix machine, it's literally 5 seconds, unlock it, load in the new attachment. So changeover isn't difficult. That was the point. I'm advocating for the Lightning Latch. If you guys like it, let's start a movement.
Comment below. Put it in the comments. Thumbs up for Lightning Latch. So now, we just posted, reposted a video that you guys were involved in. The NFL draft, that's impressive on so many different levels. I'm sure that's a gig that any other heat press company would have given their upper platens for. Like, dude, it's so cool. How did that even happen? Like, how does that partnership develop? It's the NFL, for goodness sake.
That developed between one of our employees who, can I say Brent? Yeah. Brent Kisha had a relationship with Nike, and they came up with this idea. Nike invited them. They wanted to get their jerseys out there in a bigger way.
Sorry, time out. You're saying that Nike also uses Stahls presses? Nike also? Okay.
Nike also, yeah.
If it's good enough for Nike, it's good enough for me. I think some of us are wearing Nikes today. Oh, there we go. There. Okay, anyways. So sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No. So that partnership came about because Brent Kisha and a representative from Nike had that relationship. They had this crazy idea that they wanted to put their shirts out at the NFL draft. But it wasn't good enough to just have the shirt. You had to have the shirt with the name on it, right? It had to be personalized. So that's how that partnership started. I'm sure you guys could add some context to that.
Yeah, I think I believe the first jersey we personalized was the draft year of Andrew Luck, right? He was the number 1 pick. Everybody knew he was going to the Colts, and so I believe the second pick is the first one was live heat printed at a draft. And that was Cam Newton. So everybody knows the Cam Newton. So I think that was one of the first jerseys that came hot off the press. And that's been an over a decade relationship. Not always with Nike, but we like to say Stahls is kind of the team behind the team or the brand behind the brands. And so we really service, whether it's Nike, Fanatics, whoever the partner is at the event, we're behind the scenes making it possible, customizing that with a Fusion in 2 minutes or less. From when the pick arrives.
And so you guys send a team to the on location to the draft day event?
Yeah. Stahls' team is behind the scenes with a representative from the client and the league, and the jersey gets personalized when the pick comes in. We have every potential combination planned for. It's real, authentic, heat-applied twill that you see on the jersey, so really high-end heat transfer, and that jersey goes in the commissioner's hands warm. And I don't know if you've ever watched the NFL draft, it's awesome. Like, it just comes to life for the player. So we like to say from the little leagues, when you received your first little league jersey, when your kids started to play, all the way to kind of like the pinnacle of somebody's career getting drafted into the NFL, Stahls products are there. So,
and every player, that draft day jersey is hanging at their house somewhere. Like, that's got to feel cool to know that that's on a Stahls press. Like, that's so impressive to me.
Yeah, our team really gets excited about that. So this past year, the draft was in Detroit, where we're headquartered, which was awesome. We just heard that it'll be coming to this area in Pittsburgh. in 2026, which we're really excited about. And a few years back, it was in Cleveland, where our Transfer Express division is. So our people are super passionate about the draft and kind of fulfilling on that promise on behalf of our clients.
You guys got to invite me back in 2026. I just want to be a fly on the wall for that. That's so exciting.
We'll put you to work.
I'm ready. Hey, I'm a heat presser. All right. I don't know if it'll be straight. All right. We've got to get the laser, or we'll get something. Yeah, we'll get the pro place. Now, so NFL, like, that's already huge. I think most companies would kind of hang their laurels at that point. But that's just one of so many different. You guys are involved with, I want to say, every major sports league. Can you kind of name off a few?
Sure. We work with NHL, NBA, Major League Baseball. So we work with quite a number of nationally recognized sports brands.
Do you work with the team specifically, or is it with the league?
We work with the league on most of those. Some of them are team specific.
So then you guys do jerseys. So it's not just Steelers jerseys, right? Because I know we're here just outside of Pittsburgh.
No, actually, what's really cool is it can be any team. So we're a licensed jersey fulfillment provider for NFL, NHL, and NBA, and we're a sub-licensee under Fanatics for MLB. And so we'll service, we're licensed through the league, but we'll service and sell those jerseys into the team. So you go into Madison Square Garden, whether it's a Rangers game or a Knicks game, those jerseys hanging in retail based on the player that got hot, Lynn Sanity, if you're around for that. Like, we are pressing a lot of jerseys and sewing a lot of jerseys to get on the shelf there. So it's on demand, and it's actually live at the event. So
we've seen your presses, like even out in LA, like across the country. We've seen Stahls presses. I think it was at Staples. No, it's not Staples anymore, but I will not call it the new name.
Yeah, it changes forever. All the time. Was it crypto or something? Yeah, I don't know what it is now. Crypto. Okay.
But I don't say that. I don't say crypto.
Yeah. So we've been to a ton of different events, whether for any sports league. Actually, you and I worked an all-star game out in Hollywood, I think it was, right?
Yeah, so his favorite sport's basketball, mine's baseball. So I'm going to give a shout out to Paul Skeens, which is our newest pitcher for the Pirates, who's the hottest ticket now. So it doesn't matter what sport it is. And then there's some collegiate mixed in there as well. Like some CrossFit events? Wasn't there some other things? Go ahead.
Yeah, so we did the CrossFit Games on behalf of Noble for the past few years. That'll move to a new brand. We've done the NFL Combine throughout the years on behalf of Under Armour originally, then New Era, then Noble. So lots of...
That's funny. So other companies are getting the job, but it's still powered by Stahls.
Yeah, they're still coming to Stahls because, there's nuances with doing those things. Like, you need a direct-to-film transfer. Like, that's what was on the Combine gear. You need a direct-to-film transfer that's going to go on compression wear, on nylon, that's going to stretch, right? And there are different levels to these things, and people know that you can get a lot of different qualities in heat presses, sure, a lot of different qualities in the heat transfer as well. And so if you want to decorate like the pro, you got to make pro choices on your equipment and your product.
Right, and that's such a good point. Now, when you guys go to these events, you're not taking a special secret magic Stahls press. You're basically pulling anything off the rack, right?
Yeah, for the draft, I think, because we knew it was going to be on TV, we decorated it with sequins and blinged it out to make it a little fancier, but it's the same Hotronix Fusion press.
Right, but it doesn't have like special anything. It's a production of Stahls, right? So I like what you said. If you want pro results, you got to make pro choices. I love that because somebody at home in their garage can be making their products with the exact same thing that's going on NFL products, that's going on pro league stuff. Like, it kind of blows my mind. Like, you're getting the same quality, same everything.
Yeah, 100%. And a lot of people don't realize that you may have some listeners or watchers of the podcast that are global as well. And so Stahls is a global company. And so you can invest in these machines from a Stahls subsidiary, from a distributor like a Heat Press Nation, regardless of where you're at in the country. And you can access these heat transfers. Like, one of my favorite licenses that we hold is FC Barcelona, right? The biggest probably sports team across the globe in soccer, football, depending on where you're watching from. But those transfers are manufactured at our Stahls TPT facility in Spain for all the Barcelona player kits.
Wow, that's incredible. So when we go and we see these kits at the store, you see people wearing them out, it's a Stahls product. Yeah. That's incredible. That is really cool. Are there any other cool partnerships or any other cool projects? Actually, let me ask you this. What's the biggest event you guys have done?
I think we go down the row on that. Let's start with Shauna. She may have the biggest events. I'll let her lead us off.
So I did the Super Bowl, the NFL fan experience in LA when the Super Bowl was in LA.
When we lost.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for that bad memory. I'll stick with my passion sport, which is basketball. So I've done a variety of NBA All-Star games, which a lot of people don't like. I love because I enjoy the players and everything. So I think Jordan's last All-Star game where Mariah Carey did the halftime performance are probably my highlight event for Stahls and making jerseys and the fan experience. Saw the dunk contest, the game, upper deck, but I just won in the gym.
Yeah, just to be in that room, right?
He hit it earlier. I think it was the NBA All-Star event that we did several years back in Hollywood. But if I had to pick one event, I think I would pick this one right here with you, Jared. This has been an awesome event for me.
You guys. Oh, man, that's why he's my favorite. Sorry, you guys lost. No, it's not a competition. But if it was, Ben just won. So thank you. Man, so honestly, I could sit here and talk heat presses for days. Just going through, and I could recap our tour for days. Like, as a heat press nerd, it's just absolutely impressive what you guys are doing here. And going back to innovation, I know there's so many different aspects to the Stahls Hotronix, but going back to innovation and going back to what's next, like, does that keep you guys excited? Like what's the vibe working here, you know?
It's a really fun place to work. This is my favorite job ever. And I say that, I'm dead serious. It's my favorite job ever. I work with great people. I work for great people. And there's always a challenge. So it's, we're selling heat presses and heat print technology, but it's not the same day twice.
Well, it's the only career I've ever known. And so you don't hear that often.
A little biased.
Yeah, I am biased, but I started here and honestly, I hope to retire here. So, and that's because it's fun. And I'm excited about our industry. It's a cool space. Where else do you get to talk to such a diverse set of people? We have creatives, we have entrepreneurs, we have operations folks. So a diverse set of people, roles, goals, and priorities. And so it keeps it exciting and challenging. So yeah, I love the space that we're in.
So we'll talk a little bit about a couple ups and downs and how we innovated and whipped the system. When COVID came in, we probably had that entire warehouse that you saw completely clear full of millions of dollars in equipment. And every mom or dad who lost their job or had to stay home sat in their garage and made T-shirts. They took every press we had in about a month and a half, and we went on 16-week back order, 15 weeks. Today, we have 2 months in stock, same-day shipping. So it's not only inventing products and tangible things, it's reinventing yourself on how you manufacture when something spikes and doubles in production in less than 8 months. So I like the challenge of watching this place grow like a flower. You just toured it. It's still even amazing to me, and I've been here forever. I watched it go from as big as this room to we own a small city in this industrial park under roof. So that to me is another form of innovation, keeps me rolling.
Thank you guys for taking the time to talk with me here, to talk with the viewers, because I feel like if someone's sitting down taking the time to watch a heat pressing podcast, it's because they love heat pressing. I feel like I'm the king lover of heat presses. If these could fit in my carry-on, I would definitely steal one on the way out. Unfortunately, it's not going to make weight. But, I just want to thank you guys sincerely for taking the time talking with us. Are there any closing words? Is there anything that people should know, maybe about Stahls, about what's on the horizon, maybe something that you feel is constantly overlooked that you wish, no, we got to tell them about this?
That's a good last question. I guess I'll pivot it if I could, just from about Stahls to about a decorator's business, because I feel like we're uniquely positioned, you as well, because we get to talk to thousands of decorators, right? Whereas somebody watching may only have a small sphere, if they're lucky, of that be networked with. And so I guess just some encouragement for decorators watching is that really take time in your business to back up and kind of look from a high level and craft a plan. We had the conversation off air earlier. A lot of people are like, hey, I have a budget of this, or I got approved for financing of this. And they just go out and they buy everything.
Yeah. Oh,
and so, I'd say create a plan, stay lean, stay focused, start with your customer, figure out what causes them pain, what creates joy and delight, and then approach the business methodically, smartly, and measure it and keep it active, dynamic, and refine it. So I find the biggest challenge for decorators is like, hey, yes, you can make all this stuff, and yes, you can own all this equipment, but should you, right? Who are you trying to serve, and is that required? And then make your decisions from there. So that's my encouragement.
That's why Josh is an industry legend, guys. Sorry. That's such good, valuable information. Anybody else want to add to that?
Well, I just here.
Yeah? Okay.
I'd like to thank you guys for taking the time to do this. Heat Press Nation's a big part of how we grew, and you guys deserve everything that you do. You're intelligent. You're keeping the heat printing name up in front of everyone, which is the fastest growing digital segment in our entire industry. And we're just glad to be on top of that wave and that you guys are there with us.
Well, we appreciate that. This has been the Customizing Culture podcast with my very, very special guest, my host today. I want to thank the team here at Stahls Hotronix in Carmichaels, PA, for really just treating me to one of the best heat press days ever. So I want to thank you guys. Thank you so much for sitting and talking with us. And we'll see you guys around. Adios.